There we go. Okay. What up, Claytriots? It's your boy, Technically Clay, streaming right at you, all over you from sunny St. Louis, Missouri. It was a little bit hotter today. My cat decided she wanted to get up as soon as I started talking. You know what? I'll allow it. I'll allow it for now. Um, yeah, so let's see. Since the last time you saw me, I didn't actually end up going and canvassing for Cory Bush. I just decided that I had too much going on. I had to go get groceries. I was just really stressed out, and I just decided, you know what? I did what, like 4 weeks in a row. I can take 1 week off. It's fine. So I plan on doing it again though next weekend. Don't worry, people. I'll be there. Um but yeah, so I went and got groceries. I uh came back. I had uh what I like to call a fun drink. I won't say what's in it, but it wasn't alcohol, in case you were you can put two and two together, people. And then I played Slay the Spire and watched Stargate and ate a ton of snacks. And if that also helps you a little out a little. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I needed it, I think, because today was incredibly stressful. I woke up, I called the vets, because my cat has breast cancer. I've been calling all the local vets and the places around, seeing what kind of estimates I can get for the surgeries that she needs. And dear God, I don't know how we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna pay for it, but I don't know how we're gonna pay for it. Trump, I need my stimmy. Please, please, Trump, I need my stimmy, please. Give me back the tariffs that you took out of my pocket when I ordered stuff before, please. I need it, seriously. Like, this time for realsies though. Like, I need it. Okay, but anyway, that's enough me complaining about yeah, that's basically that. I mean, I obviously I went to work, but a lot of my work day, I won't lie, was involved talking to vets all over town. So um and yeah, we're, you know, she'll make it, I believe, but it's very, very stressful. And then I came right here. Well, I ate some ramen. I'm going to be eating ramen for a little while now, I think, especially if I'm trying to save some money for my cat surgery. So, but then after that, I came right here, people, to be with you, the viewer. Hello. Welcome to the show. Oh, a little bit of, like, I guess, housekeeping or whatever. You may have noticed, let me pull up my channel. Let me pull it up over here. You may have noticed that my image changed. That's right, people. I'm no longer Dazed and Confused Link. It's my favorite profile picture. It's been my profile picture on a lot of my gaming stuff for a long time. Um, but I did decide that if I'm doing commentary, I guess I should put like something more, I don't know, less I something that's more me up here, I guess. So I decided to just go with a profile pic of me and my kitty Salem. Uh I've always liked this photo a lot, so I figured why not? Why not use this one? That was back when I had a full beard instead of the goatee that you so lovingly enjoy to this day. But yeah, so I did that. I also updated this banner pic with just a random photo that I found from online. I wanted it to be like a dystopian sort of setting. At some point, I might actually, pay to have somebody create some sort of banner or some sort of like actual like animated profile picture of me or something, or not animated, but drawn. Or I might do it myself. I like to draw. A lot of you guys probably don't even know that, but I like to draw. Particularly, I usually draw stuff in like a anime sort of style, because I'm a total weeb, but but yeah, I sometimes sketch and stuff too as well, so maybe I can draw my own profile thing. I can save some money because God knows I need to right now. But anyway, that was housekeeping. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the new profile picture. Now we are going on to the news, and boy howdy, do I got some news for you today. Let's go ahead and start with this one. Okay, so since the last time you saw me, we had entered negotiations with Iran, and Vance came out and he said, nah, it didn't happen. And the talks essentially collapsed, I think. So now Trump needs a way to, try and apply pressure, I guess, to Iran. I would say in the realm of negotiations right now. And what he's decided to land on is blockading the Strait of Hormuz. Now, eagle-eyed viewers out there might notice something strange about that, and that's that Iran was already blockading the Strait of Hormuz, or at the very least, they were only allowing ships that they were aligned with countries that they liked through, or charging people money for them to go through. So this, you might be wondering, what's this going to accomplish? And I'm also kind of wondering that. I mean, I have some thoughts, but I'm going to go and get into the video first, and then I will air my thoughts as I feel throughout. So let's go ahead and watch this one.
Has threatened to retaliate against a planned US blockade of its ports, which is due to start in the coming hours. A statement from the Iranian military described Washington's actions as piracy and warned that Iran would continue to control the Strait of Hormuz. On Sunday, President Trump saying any Iranian who opened fire at vessels passing through the strait would be, in his words, blown to hell. To remind you, the strait is that critical shipping route through which roughly 20% of the world's oil and natural liquefied gas is transported, plus other key goods as well. Its geography...
Yeah, my understanding is that the American blockade is like down here or something in the Gulf of Oman, whereas Iran's blockade is more just right here in the strait, for people curious how this is working. I don't think America wants to get super close up here with all of their Navy assets, because Iran has shown that they are willing to, willing to target and destroy those assets if they get too close. So, yeah.
Has allowed Iran to use it as leverage throughout this war, selectively preventing vessels from passing through the narrow waterway and spiking oil prices in the process. Mr. Trump also saying that the US would track down any vessel in international waters that had paid a toll to Tehran to pass through this key route. This escalation, of course, follows that collapse of marathon peace talks in Pakistan at the weekend, as our World News correspondent Joe Inwood explains.
Yeah, so I guess my thoughts here are, in terms of strategic stuff, right? I think this is like a nothing burger, to be honest. America is allegedly going to stop allowing all traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, or like all traffic out, like exporting oil essentially out of the Strait of Hormuz, as opposed to what Iran was doing before, which was allowing certain ships to go out and selling their own oil out on the market and stuff, like allowing Chinese ships to go through and all that, and then charging other people to allow the stuff to flow to them. And so while this will cut off a revenue source, I think, from Iran, number one, I don't know if they're going to, if the talks fail, if they're just going to start firing on them again and stuff. Like, I don't think they will have any qualms at all of like shooting, like firing on any tankers that go through that they have not allowed. I don't think they have any qualms at all of doing that, assuming that the ceasefire completely falls apart, which it seems like it's going to. Um, but also, I don't know if America is really interested in picking a fight with some of these nations that are like importing oil from Iran still, like China and stuff. That would be a pretty big deal if America decided to stop and, try and seize a Chinese oil tanker or something. So there's that as well. And then there's also the fact that, like, at least when Iran was allowing their oil and other people's oil to flow out, if they paid the toll, at least there was oil coming out into the market. Now we're essentially choking off entirely 20% of the world's oil market, which will obviously have a huge impact on America in particular. Like not like as much as the places that are going to have shortages and stuff like the Philippines and whatnot, but it will impact the oil prices, which is the only thing that, or like the gas prices, which I think is the only thing that Trump is even really sensitive to. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts on it. But let's see what else BBC has to say, and maybe I can give more commentary.
It has become one of Iran's most powerful weapons. One of the world's busiest waterways, the Strait of Hormuz, all but shut by a naval blockade. Only a tiny number of ships get in or out, doing ever-increasing damage to the global economy. Getting it reopened was one of the US's key demands in this weekend's negotiations with Iran. They did not manage to do that, and so seem to have taken a different approach. President Trump posted on social media that the US will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. He also claimed other countries will be involved with this blockade. The US military confirmed that it will...
I have not seen that yet, if any other countries are going to be a part of it. I'd be curious which ones, because we've really pissed off like almost all of our allies at this point.
Begin a blockade, but only of Iran's ports, starting later today.
Very good things are happening with regard to this Strait, Hormuz. I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate.
It's not yet clear how it will be enforced and which other countries...
And it's also, this is one of the things that where I was like, I don't think, like, from a strategic perspective, Iran should have taken the ceasefire deal, or this like 2-week pause. To be honest, because America is the one who needed this, right? Like, they were getting real low on interceptors over in Israel, and America, was probably getting low on its munitions and all that stuff. Like, they were the ones that I think needed this more than Iran needed this. And that's where I go back to, it must have been China or somebody who like kind of forced their hand into doing this, because China wants stability more than anything, I think. While this is technically better for China than it is for America, the whole, like, America's, shooting itself in the foot or whatever. I think that, like, yeah, I think China would still prefer things to kind of just be like business as usual, just because they enjoy trading a lot, and trading requires, relatively stable prices for oil in particular. So yeah, I don't know
if any will be involved.
Oh, sorry,
it
but
is a high risk.
What I was going to say is, though, I think that Iran, like, is technically not in as good of a bargaining position now than they were when the ceasefire, like, before the ceasefire started. And the only way that they will regain their, like, leverage and stuff to the same level that it was at before would be if they start firing on these ships. And in particular, if they fire on tankers that try to go through the Strait of Hormuz, like, to make sure people understand, like, you're not getting through no matter what. Like, America is not going to like, we're the ones enforcing the blockade essentially, or whatever. So there's, like, if they do that, and also if they start firing on the American Navy assets in whatever country decides to go along with them in this blockade effort, like, I think that that's the only way that they'll get back up to the same level of leverage that they had, essentially just restarting to exactly where they were before in terms of all of their missile and drone strikes across the region as well.
Strategy fraught with difficulties.
It seems to be probably at least part of a negotiating strategy to ratchet up tension on Iran, and also to hit them economically in terms of less revenues for Iran. Obviously, that's key for him, and as well as potentially put pressure on Iran's partners, such as China.
In Tehran, after nearly 40 days of constant airstrikes, to have pictures of negotiations on the front pages will come as some relief, even if they were not the headlines these people wanted.
I was really hoping they would make an agreement and reach a conclusion. It's been almost 45 days now, and I can see the stress in people. This is not what our country deserves.
I would like a way for the people of Iran to be happy. Anything that makes the people of Iran happy. I don't like this feeling of uncertainty. If the people are happy with war resolving it, then let the war happen so we can get some resolution.
Yeah.
Many in this country say they are tired of war. It is not clear if the imposition of a naval blockade on Iran's ports will make a return to fighting more or less likely.
I mean, I would say more likely, I guess, but it's more that it's just going to break down the ceasefire negotiations, quote unquote, like even more. It'll, like I just think that it'll just end up going back to where we were before with, or eventually with Iran striking assets around the region or whatever. But who knows? I don't know exactly what Iran's like position here is when it comes to, or like what they are thinking necessarily when it comes to these negotiations right now. Like if they are taking it seriously, or if they're also just like, whatever, we'll take a 2-week pause, we'll rearm as well, and then we'll get back to it. I don't know exactly what their thoughts are.
Joe Inwood, BBC News.
Our Middle East Bureau Chief Joe Floto is in Jerusalem, and he said we're not yet learning how the US military will actually enforce this blockade in the Strait of Hormuz.
We're all waiting for 5 o'clock my time, 5:30 in Iran, to see exactly how the US military will enforce this blockade. On the one hand, we might think that this is a way of creating a safe passageway for international traffic, as you were pointing out. They're so vital to the world economy to pass through the Straits of Hormuz. The question will come with the US Navy trying to stop Iranian ships coming in and out of the Straits of Hormuz. What will happen at that point? The Iranians have said they're going to push back very robustly. And will that threaten this ceasefire? And we're barely a week in. We're actually not quite a week into this ceasefire. So both sides currently don't appear to want to escalate this to the point of a renewed war. And yet both sides appear very maximalist in what they're willing to demand and concede.
Joe Floto there. Let's take you to Pakistan and join our correspondent, Carrie Davies, who is in Islam.
Yeah, America is just delusional in what it's asking for in terms of the realities of the battlefield. Like, they're completely delusional. If they think they're going to end up getting even a fraction of what they have outlined in their proposal for what they want out of these negotiations, they are completely delusional. It's not going to happen. And eventually they will realize that because they will be forced to. Yeah.
Islamabad, and has been following the talks for us over the weekend. What are you hearing from sources in Pakistan, Carrie, about what their expectation is of next steps? And is there talk that maybe further negotiations could take place? Is that the hope?
Well, Lucy, we definitely know that Pakistan wants to continue to be this facilitator between the US and Iran, and they want to continue to be, at the very least, passing messages back and forth between the two sides. And of course, we know that they've been operating that back channel for the course of several weeks in the run-up towards these talks that happened over the course of the weekend. Of course, the big question is how much is that back channel potentially being used at the moment? We also know that that there have been sort of rumours circulating. Would they potentially go back to the negotiating table? Even President Trump had been talking about the suggestion. He said that he thought that Iran was going to come back to the negotiating table. Of course, we've had no confirmation from either side about whether they would be willing to have those sorts of discussions. We just don't know whether that is something that they're willing to do. But as we heard from Joe Floto and from Joe Inwood's pieces, we know that there is probably a lack of appetite for continued military conflict on both sides. It seems the fact that both of them came to Islamabad was seen as a very real effort to try to find some form of common ground, but their positions are so far apart.
That's where I'm not so sure. I do think that Iran was kind of like pushed to do this by China, if I had to guess, which I think was potentially a bad move from China's perspective, because any sort of view of being conciliatory to the West at all is going to inevitably lead to more conflict in the future. you have to be completely oppositional. There's nothing that America understands other than force. Like, you cannot negotiate with, like, you, I mean, not to borrow a phrase from George W. Bush, you can't negotiate with terrorists. Like, the American, you know, terrorist regime is never, they fundamentally, all they want is to, like, project their own power no matter what, right? Even at the cost of their own civilians and their own citizens and stuff. They care more about projecting power and, you know, destabilizing and destroying other countries for their, like, pedo billionaire overlords, you know, like, so the only thing that they will ever respond to is force, as Iran learned from the initial parts of this war, where they got, you know, sanctions relief. They got like an incredible revenue source from the Strait of Hormuz. They got I don't like they destroyed all of the bases. They essentially removed all of the American military bases from their region. They achieved all of that through military means, and so that's really, I think, the only thing that America understands. And one day America will have to, like, come to the negotiating table and agree to Iran's demands, because there's not going to be any other option, assuming that they don't capitulate, which I don't think that they will.
The big concern is whether or not these steps of blockading the Strait of Hormuz, does that lead to further escalation, even if both sides would actually quite like to be able to find some form of off-ramp here?
Carrie, great to get that update from you. Thank you so much. We have some breaking news to bring you, actually, about what is happening out in the Gulf at the moment. Being reported on the Reuters news agency that 2 Iranian-linked tankers have actually exited the Gulf via the Strait of Hormuz. This is ahead of the blockade, the US blockade that is coming up. So there is some movement happening out there in the Gulf. 2 Iranian-linked tankers exiting the Gulf via the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to another video, but related.
After failing to
let me pull it up here. So this is just from 22 minutes ago. I wanted to get to see if there's any new things of, like, what's going on. Maybe actually this one will be better. This is CBS. At least, I mean, it is Barry Weiss's CBS, but at least I recognize the channel. So let's see if they have any information on how this blockade is actually going to be implemented. And we'll see if they've stopped any Iranian vessels or whatever. So let's go.
President Trump says the U.S. military blockade of Iran's ports and the partial blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is underway. It sets the stage for a showdown that poses serious risks for the global economy and risks to the fragile ceasefire now in place. I'm joined now by Dr. Sumantra Mitra, fellow at the Royal Historical Society and founder of the Clio Strategic Consultancy. And Dr. Mitra, thanks for being here. Let's take us through how this blockade will work. How are things going to work?
So military blockade essentially is kind of playing a poker game. It is, on one hand, dependent on the overwhelming force of the U.S. Navy. But on the other hand, it is also a bluff, because at the end of the day, you have to enforce a blockade. So imagine a situation where we have 20 and 30 U.S. Navy ships standing, and there is one Chinese Navy ship escorting a Chinese tanker. At that point of time, it becomes a problem. Because at that point of time, either we let them pass, as the kind of similar operations that we do in Taiwan, near Taiwan, for example, where we play on their insecurities and kind of like dare them to shoot at us, that kind of like gets reversed and puts them on the U.S. Navy. So eventually, one can imagine, you know, in the coming days, we would see whether the blockade is, one, serious, that is, whether the U.S. Navy is interested in seizing a ship, in boarding a tanker vessel, anyone who's trying to cross the blockade, and, you know, taking control of that ship, or it is essentially kind of like pressuring Iran to come to a deal.
It seems like President Trump is downplaying the impact of the Strait's closure on the U.S., but what is the global impact?
The global impact is not good. The United States is sort of insulated.
Well, it's also kind of the opposite of what they already did, which they they released the sanctions on the Iranian oil so that that could flood the market and keep the prices relatively low. But if they are going to actually enforce this blockade, which seems kind of up in the air at this point, but if they are going to actually enforce it, then that would just counteract that. And it would be a straight up like 20% of the world's oil is just gone for the foreseeable, or like as long as America decides to do this. So it will have an impact here as well. Gas
from the
prices.
global impact in a way because of geography and because the US is fundamentally fuel independent. But we are already seeing pressure of the fuel prices in Europe. For example, recently in Hungary, there was an election a couple of days back, and the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban lost. One of the reasons why he lost was because the fuel cost was so high for average Hungarians. Europe is especially, problematic in this situation. The Gulf states are not being able to ramp up as much fuel supply as they could because of Iranian pressure and Iran being next to them. The United States has so far not felt that much amount of pressure, but if it continues, it would harm us too.
Well, I just filled up my car the other day. I felt that pressure. That just sucked.
Is the U.S. risking an escalation in the region over this? Like, what if China or Russia sends warships to escort their tankers?
See, that is the biggest worry. At that point in time, they're daring us to shoot or sink their ships. It is unlikely that the Russians are going to do that, but there is very much a possibility of the Chinese doing that. Or even like, think of, friendly countries like India or South Korea passing through. Are we going to seize their ship? Are we going to board them? Are they going to continue a free?
Even if they do that, I don't think that America is willing to, number one, I don't think America is really that willing to start to expand this war from being a regional war to a global war, right? Which is what that risk would, that's what the risk would entail of shooting down a Chinese naval ship or something that's protecting an oil tanker going through. But also, oh God, I forgot what I was going to say now. It'll come back to me, I'm sure.
Freedom of navigation operation that we do next to Taiwan? These are not the questions that have been answered by the administration or by Pentagon. According to the Naval Rule Book, you can blockade a coastal line if you are officially at war with a country.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. If it did happen, though, I will almost guarantee you that there would be back channel discussions before China does like allow their ship to go through or something. Like, I would guess that they would communicate with America, like, we're going to do this and like, you're going to let us or whatever. And, if you don't, like, it'll be an international incident, or be like, we'll give you a slightly more favorable deal if you let us, keep shipping our stuff through. And then, Trump could come out and say, oh, because of our great relations with China, we're actually going to allow China. Like, I don't know. There's probably like a way that he could sell it if he wanted to, but I would be pretty sure that they are going to have a, communication with America before they even try that.
Provided that you're blockading the ships coming out of the country under that country's flag. It's a little tricky when it comes to third-party ships going and passing through those regions. And we haven't had any answer from the Pentagon so far. So eventually, push comes to shove, if the Chinese are sending a warship next to a Chinese flagged tanker, then at that point in time, it would be unto us or the US Navy to actually board or seize that ship or let them pass. And it's either way, if we let them pass, then it's humiliating for the US Navy either.
Yeah.
Dr. Mitra, thank you.
We'll see what happens. I don't know. I just think it's also this is so against what America needs domestically, right? In terms of getting the gas prices down lower. Like this should shoot the gas prices up pretty high, I think. Because you're just getting rid of that source that was at least getting exported to some countries before, even if they had to pay a fine or even if they had to buy it in Chinese yuan or whatever, right? Like there was oil being exported before. And if America does actually enforce this blockade, which is, like I said, still up in the air, then yeah, it would shut it off entirely. I don't think that that would be any, that huge of a deal for Iran in particular. It would shut off one of its revenue sources, but I think that it would still, Iran has other ways of, of making money. So I think I remember reading, it was like, what, on oil revenue percentage. Says about 20%, 10 to 20%. So, you know, like shutting off that 10 to 20% of their revenue or their income is, you know, it's a big deal, obviously, but they're in a wartime economy. They'll be able to absorb those blows, and, you know, people will over there will be willing to suffer if it means, if they see a vision for how in the end it could lead to a more sovereign or a more free Iran. So I don't know. It just seems, I don't really see this as, this is like one of Trump's classics. Like, I am trying to find a way to escalate without actually escalating is what it feels like to me. Cause like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe this will be a brilliant move by our big, beautiful boy. Let's go ahead and move on then. I'm going to skip over. That's probably just more blockade stuff. So I kind of want to watch this though. I don't know why this was just on my feed. This is the official White House channel, people. This is so this is President Trump receives a DoorDash delivery. I have no idea what is going to go on in here. I think this is supposed to be like a press conference type situation. I don't really know what DoorDash has to do with it. I feel terribly if this is an actual person and not just an actor who is delivering this McDonald's here thinking they're just going to deliver it and then walk away, and then suddenly like the president comes out and starts talking to you or some shit, you know? Like, I hope this is just like a staged event where this person knew what they were getting into. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what the hell's going on in this press conference. Let's see here.
Perfect. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you, Mr. President.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, this is staged. 100% this is staged. Come on. She sounds like she's reading off a script. Like, okay. So that's better, I suppose. I just didn't want, like, it's like, not, do you realize how uncomfortable it makes me when, like, just in a regular DoorDash situation where I feel like I'm accidentally talking too much to the DoorDash guy. Like, they don't, like, I know that they're not my friend. I should just let them go on about their day. I feel uncomfortable just about that. There's some people who are even like, hey, you want to like come up for a beer or something? Like, I'm like, that's like, I feel like so bad about like capturing these people who feel like they have to be nice for like a tip or whatever. But like, can you imagine doing, like, you're delivering DoorDash and it's the president who's like, no, just stand right here for a second while I do a press conference with you. Like, it's like, God, now I got to stay here for another 20 minutes. I want to go back. I need to make some money, dude. Like, he better have given them a good tip. Something about Trump tells me that he's not a very good tipper, but anyway, let's see what's going on. She's clearly an actor though, or not an actor, but she clearly knew that she was gonna be doing this, I guess.
Does it look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
That's really nice. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
Okay. See, he's letting it out. It's like, yeah, okay, it's clearly staged.
That's really, these are good. DoorDash is doing a good job. So the reason for this is the fact that I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 that you didn't get because the tax bill was so big. The refund was the biggest you've ever had. Is that a correct statement?
It definitely was.
Well,
yeah, I saved over $11,000 by not.
Okay, I mean, I'm assuming are they talking about the no tax on tips stuff or something? Maybe I don't really know, but $11,000, Jesus, I could have used that one, man.
I having to claim.
Was that surprising to you?
It was very surprising. Very surprising.
A great big beautiful bill, and that doesn't include overtime in your case. This is only just based on what we did in terms of every other aspect of the tax.
Do contractors, which is what DoorDash considers these, you know, the servants that they send out to go help all of the, you know, middle class feudal lords that we have or whatever, are yeah, I don't know. I didn't know they got overtime. I don't think that they do. Am I wrong on that? I don't think they get overtime.
That's real, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was 11,000 savings.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that incredible? And that's what it is, the tax cut. It's really, you know, we call it the great big beautiful bill. We should call it the great big beautiful tax cut bill, because it's tremendous amounts of money. And that's overtime. That's also on Social Security, as you know.
Yes.
And it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
Well, you're really nice. Would you like to do a little news conference with me with these people? These are not the nicest people. They're not nice like you. You know that, right?
I'll do whatever you ask me to do, sir.
So there's no tax.
Don't say that to him, girl. Please, please. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Some tips is something special, right?
It's very special.
And that's the one that really pertains to you more than anything else.
Yes, sir.
It's fantastic. It's such an honor to meet you. And I think you voted for me, do you think?
Maybe.
I heard you're a great supporter. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll put this over here. And why don't we have a news conference with the press?
Okay.
Want to do it?
Sure.
You don't have to say too much. I think they're looking about Hormuz Strait and various other things. Do you have any questions?
Okay, I don't think she's like an actor, but I do think she was obviously like prepped ahead of time that this might happen. But I don't really know if the average DoorDash driver is going to have much to say on like the geopolitics of Iran. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you can have a like a good discussion with like, you know, your average Joe Schmo about like stuff like this. The average American is kind of a little bit like unaware just broadly of like what's going on. But if you tell them like what's happening, you can have like a good, you know, conversation with just like your average Joe Schmo out there. But when it comes to like the nuances of geopolitical decisions at the tippity top of our government, like I'm not quite sure how much impact her thoughts are going to have on what the president does. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and it had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I had,
we're going to get into this later. I'll show you guys the picture. But in fact, I think it might be one of the next videos that we watch. But it was clearly him as Jesus. Like, it was just, it was obvious. Come on.
I just heard about it. And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better. And I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000, I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going through some very serious cancer treatment. So
yes, sir.
Well, I hope he's okay.
Yes, sir. It sure does. Mr. President,
oh God, dude, I can't take it. You know what's like crazy to me is that Trump is a billionaire, right? Like, he has so much money. If he wanted to, he could be like, I am paying for that entire treatment, like right now, like whatever the cost, whatever your copay is, or what, if you don't have insurance, I'll pay for the whole thing outright. Like, he could do that, and it would be a minor dent in his like net worth or whatever. So when he says, yeah, that $11,000, that'll go a long way to your, $200,000 cancer treatment that your husband's getting or whatever, is like, kind of like, oof, not the best optics, if you ask me, personally, because you don't want to be like the billionaire who's like, see, I saved you $11,000 or whatever. Like, be like, no, bitch, pay for my husband's cancer treatment. If this were me, if I was door dashing and I happened to just like get the president's DoorDash order and like bring it up and he started talking to me, I'd be like, Like, and my cat has cancer, right? I need to pay like potentially up to $10,000 for the surgeries that she needs. And I would come up here, I'd be like, bitch, you better pay for the whole fucking thing. Like, seriously. Do you realize how much of an impact that money would have compared to like how little of an impact it has to your, you know, bottom line? I mean, come on, dude.
Another round of talks planned with Iran, and if so, will you send Vice President J.D. Vance again?
Well, he's done a good job, and Steve and Jared, they've all done a very good job, and I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly, very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It was over nuclear, very similar, yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Tore down, Trevor. It's got to be like, why the fuck am I here?
But they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back either. We'll get it back from them, or we'll take it.
Mr. President, as far as the naval blockade is concerned, what's the end game? Is it to force Iran back to the negotiating table? Is it to open up the strait so that gas prices ultimately come down?
Maybe everything. I mean, both of those things, certainly, and more. We can't let a country...
All your hopes and dreams, everything you've ever wanted, every wish that you've made on your birthday candles for the past 30 years, we're going to get it all. The blockade will get it all for you, okay? Everybody now shut up. Just shut up.
Blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen. And you know, the amazing thing is, we don't, can you believe this? We don't use the strait. We don't need the strait. We have our own oil and gas, much more than we need. We have more oil.
As a straight person, I don't like the way he's talking right now. We need our straits out there, okay, people? We add some value to this colorful fabric that is American society, okay? Let the straits live, okay? Donald Trump, I don't appreciate this straight hating talk that he's got going on.
Oil and gas in Saudi Arabia. Think of this. We produce more. Saudi Arabia, and add Russia to it. Substantially more. And by next year, we'll have double that amount. So we don't need it, but the world needs it. And many ships are heading to our country right now as we speak to load up with the best. Really, I guess you could say, somebody said the best and sweetest. I don't know exactly what sweet is, but when it relates to oil, it's a good thing. But they're coming to our country right now. There are many boats coming to our country. Now, it could very well be this is going to be settled before that. We've been called this morning by the right people, the appropriate people, and they want to work a deal. They would like to work a deal.
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those?
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
As the blockade.
We'll see, man. I don't know how many countries are going to get involved with this. Maybe they will, but I don't know.
Started, sir?
Yeah, started 10 o'clock.
Bishop Robert Barron.
Because I feel like they already would have. Like if that was the case, like why are they waiting a day? Why are they waiting until after America does it? Like I don't understand that really.
Supports you and your policies. He praises you for defending religious freedom.
Yeah.
He now says you owe Pope Leo an apology. Will you apologize?
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo.
Is that blasphemous? My Catholics out there, is that blasphemous for him to say? Is he allowed to say that, you know, the Pope is wrong? And because I thought the Pope was supposed to be the closest person to God, like on the in the human realm, for Catholics. So I don't know, but I'm not a Catholic, so I don't know.
I would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime and other things. So I'm not. I mean, he went public. I'm just responding to Pope Leo. And you know, his brother is a big MAGA person, and he's a great guy, Louis. And I said I like Louis better than I like the Pope. No, you have to have law and order in our country, and That's what we have now. We have the lowest crime numbers we've had in a long time, despite the fact that many criminals were allowed.
This is one of the most interesting things about the MAGA Christians and stuff is that, like, they specifically refuse any sort of, like, traditional, like, I don't know, you're like non-American Christian ideology, right? Like when it comes to like Catholicism, which has historically been incredibly like, well, it is his, or at least in the modern, like past couple centuries, has been like pretty like open to like pretty pro like human rights issues, right? Like pretty against like white nativism or like blocking people from your borders and general immigration hawkery and stuff. They've been like kind of against that for a while. And so when American Christians hear the Pope come out and just say normal Pope stuff, like normal Catholic like Pope stuff, they tend to get like really, really butthurt and really mad that like their insane version of Christianity that they've come up with over the past like, 400 years or whatever since we landed over here in America, that is like so wildly divergent from like the origins and the traditions of like the European Christians or whatever, including European Protestants, by the way. I'm not just talking about Catholics. Like, I don't know, it just breaks their brain, and then they like find themselves at odds with their own religion, because their own religion will occasionally have like occasionally harken back to like the actual good parts of the Bible or whatever,
Our country, but we've gotten a lot of them out. We've done a great job on crime. So we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years since 1900, the lowest murder rate. So we believe strongly in law and order, and he seemed to have a problem with that. So there's nothing to apologize for. He's wrong. And the other thing is he didn't like what we're doing with respect to Iran, but Iran is wants to be a nuclear nation so they can exterminate the world. Not going to happen.
Hey, Mr. President, if the deal is not reached by the end of the ceasefire, does your threat from before still stand?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that, but it won't be pleasant for them, let me put it that way.
Do you still plan to charter toll to use the Strait of Hormuz?
Has your timetable changed in any way in terms of ending this conflict?
No, I would. It's going on. Right now, there's no fighting. Right now, we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily. Don't forget, their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. It's a lot.
Do you still want to charter
coming from predominantly going to China, Mr. President? Has Xi Jinping reached out? And maybe
no, but we have a very good relationship with China. He would like to see this ended also. He certainly wants it ended. Everyone, I want to see it ended too, but we can't give a nuclear weapon to a group of people that have caused nothing but havoc for 47 years. Look, I'm the president that's done something about it. This should have been, and many other presidents regret that they didn't. So I'm doing something.
President, Ukraine impeachment documents that were just declassified show that Eric Charamella not only submitted false information, but that he had no direct knowledge of the alleged conversation. It was all hearsay. Do you feel vindicated by those documents?
Yeah, I do. They're a bunch of crooked people. You're talking about with respect to all of the things that they put against me. Yeah. Well, it's come out that in so many different ways. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it. But in so many different ways, the election was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. We found that out. What you just said is just a piece of that. It's a big piece, but minor, relatively speaking, compared to what they did. They cheated on the election. They cheated on the vote. And they cheated in every way possible. And it's the only way we got an incompetent man to be president. And he was an incompetent man. Many of the things that
who cares? I got it. How many times do I have to say this? Who cares? That was 2020. Get over it, old man. Seriously. No one gives a shit about your 2020 election. Oh, I gotta take this call. So
I'll let it play.
We're talking about even including this would have been settled a long time ago, not now. And it should have been settled by other presidents. But the election was a rigged election. We can't let that happen to our country.
It's concealment of exculpatory information. What should happen?
Well, it's a very serious charge against them and the Democrats. They cheat. They can't get elected with their policy. So their policy is no good. They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about no
Pizza.
tax on tips.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. President, maybe know your name, please, and if you've been to the White House before.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is it your understanding that during this period of time, while the U.S. has instituted this naval blockade, that oil companies will be able to send their oil tankers through the strait, get more oil out from this area?
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing very well there, and I think they're doing very well here. You know, a lot of tankers are coming up here. They're coming in empty and out full. And we have a great capacity to take care of that business.
Ma'am, may we know your name, please? Have you delivered to the White House before?
I have not. My name is Sharon Simmons.
And are the White House good tempers? Do you know?
Wait.
Potentially. Yes, very.
Mr. President, can I ask you something
That's
about
good.
Cuba?
Thank you. You reminded me.
Mr. President, what on Cuba, sir? You previously said that you had no problem with countries sending fuel to Cuba after previously promising to tariff them. What happened? What changed?
Well, we're going to see with Cuba. Cuba's another story. Cuba's been a terribly run country for a long time. It's got a bad system. It's been very oppressive, as you know. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, all of whom just about voted for me. And they were treated very badly. In many cases, family members have been killed. They've been beaten up and mugged, and terrible things happened in Cuba. And Cuba's a failing nation. And we're going to do this, and we may stop by Cuba after we're finished with this. But Cuba is a nation that was just been horribly run for many years by Castro.
You said based on why would you change your mind?
Regarding those two recent referrals for Letitia James for insurance fraud, do you know if federal prosecutors had evidence to charge?
Well, I don't know. I know she's a very corrupt person. And you're talking about the so-called Attorney General of New York. She's a very corrupt person. That's been proven now. And I know I have nothing to do with it, but they're looking at things all over the place, more than one state, concerning her and concerning people like Comey, who's a dirty cop. Comey's a dirty cop, and dirty cops are bad. Nobody likes the police more than me, law enforcement more than me, but Comey's a totally dirty cop, and we're not gonna stand for
Okay, sorry about that, people. I had to come in and pause it, just because I was worried that it was gonna end up finishing before I even got to come back or whatever. And this was such a fun interview. I wanted to at least have some of it. But since my cat's getting, has breast cancer, needs surgeries and all that stuff, I'm getting phone calls left and right all the time. So this unfortunately might be a little bit of a recurring thing for the next couple days. That depending on when people can call me, I might have to step away from stream. But I'm just gonna finish this up now while I'm here. And then maybe I might have to cut this up a little bit for the video whenever I re-upload it to my YouTube channel, but let's go.
The UFC fight that's happening at the White House this summer, UFC typically numbers those fights consecutively, but should they label this one UFC 1776?
That's a good idea. I'll tell that to Dana White. I like that idea.
That is not a good idea. That's a stupid idea. Shut up. Oh my God. 1776, really? Okay, come on, man. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a dumb question, dumb thing to do, and he's dumb for pretending like it's a smart question.
I will say I've been involved with a lot of big events. I've never had an event that's had more interest in the UFC fight that we have right at the front door. Right there, they're going to start building about a 4,500 seat arena, and then in the back at the Ellipse, we're going to have maybe 100,000, 50 to 100,000 people. I guess they're building tremendous stages, and you're going to have massive screens of the fight, and it's a very popular sport. But I have never been involved because of the White House and everything. There's a lot of reasons for it, but we're having a fight at the White House on June 14th, and we're going to have an arena built right at the front door. And if you want, is your husband up to coming? You think? Does he like UFC?
He might.
If he's feeling good, we'll make sure you come. Okay?
That would be wonderful.
That's
Thank
better
you.
than the tip I just gave you. That's a lot better. But no, if he's feeling good, right?
Did I miss the tip? How much did he tip her, people? Was it a good amount? I don't know. I don't trust him. I feel like the only reason he would ever tip good is if he's on camera.
Is he doing okay? Is he going to be okay?
He's doing very well. He's doing very well. He actually, during the process, he wrote a book.
Cool. Go ahead, give him the name. Maybe
he hasn't had it published yet, but it's a book on humility, and his name is Leo, and he's just
good guy.
Doing good. He's doing great.
How long are you married?
We have been married for 6 years.
But
we've, like most people, we've been together for over 10. So
that's very good. Yeah. Well, that's very nice to say hello to him. He's going to be good. Okay.
Well, Leo, I wish the best of luck to you, man. Cancer fucking sucks. And I'm all up here like bawling my eyes out because my cat has cancer. I can't even imagine if like my wife had cancer. Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. Like that would be a really tough situation. So
he's gonna get better, and he's gonna.
At the very least, I do have insurance through my employer, so But with all the co-payments and all that sort of shit too, man. Ugh.
Be good.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
well, I want to thank you all, and I especially want to thank you for being here.
Well, I want to thank you for the no tax on tips.
That's good.
It has helped my family out immensely. And
yeah, I knew that was what it was. Okay.
That's so nice. The one thing that I just in leaving, we've had more good press for change, having to do with the fact that people are receiving more money from their tax refunds than they ever thought possible.
No tax on tips, but also, can we get $200 billion to go fight a war with Iran? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how like back in the day before we could just borrow money and that was how we paid for everything. Back in the day, if you wanted to go to war, before, I'm talking like before the global financial system, like before post, I'd say like after the World Wars is when it really picked up, I guess. Like the borrowing in order to fund everything of the like fund our entire economy or fund our entire government. But before that, you had to, if you wanted to go to war, you had to raise taxes. Like that was the only way to pay for a war. A lot of people don't even understand that. Like if we wanted, like in a real world where money wasn't just fake and we just like pretend that it like is, you know, we're 40 trillion in debt, but it's fine, you know, and that's not going to come crashing down at some point. Like in a real world, though, if we wanted to go to war with Iran here and we needed $200 billion, they would have to get that $200 billion through taxes, taxing the people of our country. And I would assume like that would be incredibly unpopular, which is why we don't do it. But yeah. So every time that they reduce like the taxes on various things or whatever, I'm like, okay, great. We're just gonna we only pay for those things with like those losses of revenue sources with one of two things: removing public services that people have had for their entire lives and have paid for with their taxes for their entire lives, or to borrowing and adding to our trillions upon trillions of dollars of national debt.
We had a man the other day got $5,000. Another one got $7,000. They weren't expecting anything like this, and it's because of the great big beautiful bill. And that's why you came, and I really appreciate.
They must have been making a lot of money off of tips then. I guess if there's no tax on tips, then I would assume that means she made $11,000 worth of tips, because it wasn't, or not 11. No, 11. That's insane. That seems crazy to me, right? The amount of tips, because they were taking a portion of that before. Let's say they were taking, I don't know what it was before, but let's say they were taking 20% of tips or something. Wouldn't that mean that she made $100,000 or like, no, $50,000 worth of, $50,000 worth of tips or something? If that were the case, if 20% of that was around $10,000 and she got that extra $10,000 back on her return. I don't know. That seems a little wild to me.
And tell your husband to get better.
I will.
And if he's feeling good, you'll come up and you'll watch that fight.
All right.
June 14th.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
She won't be there, dude. Trust me. The instant that she walks away, he is going to forget that she ever existed. And if she happened to come to that fight or whatever that they're having on the front lawn of the White House, like, do you really think that he would even remember who she was? like I don't think that's happening. I'm sorry. It's like when the popular kid, like in a movie or something, is like feeling real generous, and so he like, you know, says, you know what, you can come too, to some like super nerdy like weird kid or whatever, to the house party, and then the weird kid comes to the house party and knocks on the door, and the guy's like, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the vibe that I get here.
Thank you.
Any update on Blockade?
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of Trump harassing a DoorDasher. Let's go ahead and move on. What do we got? What else do we got here, people? I guess I got to talk about, let's see, which one? I'll start with this one. That was a little bit loud. Okay. So we're going to go over to France 24. We heard he was, you know, when he was harassing that DoorDash lady, we were just watching, the press, they were all up on Trump being like, why on earth did you post this AI photo of yourself as Jesus? And so like, we're going to see what all was happening there, and hopefully they'll show the actual image. I think it looks like they do. So we'll get to see and react to the image as well, because I think I've kind of seen glimpses of it online, but I was trying to hold off until I could come here and see it. So
Truth or Fake gives us vertigo held by the big board. We're picking up again with Pope Leo, who's had basically that visit to Algeria, which is a papal first, and more African countries on the agenda. But he's also in the news after Donald Trump launched an extraordinary attack on the Pope. His words said on Sunday, the words of the US president. But he also went as far as to share an AI-generated image. This is Trump depicting himself, Donald Trump, as Jesus Christ. Vedika, talk us through it.
That's right, Mark. Well, there's nothing to debunk today on Truth or Fake, because this is in fact true. The US president went on a late night rant on his platform, Truth Social, late on...
No, I mean, that's definitely white Jesus. I grew up in the Midwest, man. I know white Jesus when I see white Jesus. And this is definitely him as white Jesus. Also, he said he's a doctor. I don't know how many people like pray to their doctors. I would assume that usually you would want to be praying to to Jesus.
Sunday as he returned.
Yeah, I think that this is pretty blatantly. I don't agree with his assessment that he was just being a doctor in this. If a doctor, okay, here's my assessment. If a doctor comes up to you and does this, like, and like is holding like a ball of like pure light, and he comes up and he like one hand's holding a ball of pure light and he goes up and he touches your forehead and you start glowing like this guy is down here, like I think that you should like be like, oh, we're not in the realm of science anymore. We're in the realm of mysticism and religion, I think. So just letting you know, don't let your doctors do this, okay? I don't think that that's not a normal thing, okay?
From Florida to Washington. And in a lengthy post around 3 a.m., he blasted Pope Leo before sharing an AI-generated image depicting himself as Jesus Christ. Now, this image has since been deleted from the platform in the last few hours. But let's go through first what Donald Trump said about the Pope. Now, he started by saying Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He says he likes his brother Louis.
Can you imagine saying the fucking Pope is weak on crime? Like, do you even know what the purpose of religion is? Like, religion isn't a government, right? It's not a governing body. Their job isn't to reduce crime. They're really, if you want to say like their job is to alleviate the suffering of others or whatever, like is like the primary goal or whatever you could say of the church, is if you're going to talk about like that sort of stuff, is to reduce the suffering of others, at least in its purest and goodest form. That is what it is supposed to do. Yeah, they're not governments, okay? So that's a silly thing to say. That's funny.
Louis much better because he is all MAGA. He said, I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He also said, I don't want a pope who criticizes me as the president of the United States. Now, he also went on to say that the pontiff should be thankful because it was a surprise, allegedly, to Donald Trump that he was elected, that he was voted in to be the pope, and that he was only put there by the church because he was an American. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Now, he ended this post by saying...
Wow. And he's taking credit. He's taking credit for our boy, our Chicago Pope, the best Pope, or what is Chicago? The Cars, I don't know, what else?
Pope Leo should get his act together because it's hurting the Catholic Church. So quite scathing words there from Donald Trump. And some 40 minutes later, after that...
Yeah, he's like, bring back the last guy, right? What was the last guy? What was he all about? I guess he was like pro-trans, was that right? I can't remember. I can't keep up with all the popes, man.
Lengthy post, he shared this AI-generated image depicting himself as Jesus Christ healing the sick. We can see Trump bathed in light, wearing a white robe as he heals an ill man with his hands. There's the US flag in the background as bald eagles fly as well in the skies. And it does evoke a certain sense of religious Christian imagery.
Yeah, well, this is the most American Christian thing that I've seen. And American Christian, like I always say, it's another strain of Christianity. It is different than all of the other strains. It is a like, I don't know, like this sort of imagery of like blending the state with Jesus and religion. Like most Christians should see that as just complete and total blasphemy, right? Like that is like one of the most like obviously blasphemous things you can do, is to compare yourself to Jesus, but also to blend like your religion into the national, white nativist policies of the government or whatever, right? Like that should be just like very obvious that it's blasphemous to the average person, but not in America, baby. In America, this is completely normal. This is very, very normal. Like even before the era of like, Facebook AI, like slop that just our boomer, like TV-addled brain boomers are sitting on their iPads like iPad babies and just like scrolling endlessly through the fucking slop and getting this shit like, I don't know, pumped right into their veins. Even before that though, like modern American churches, like their depictions of Jesus is usually very much like a you know, Chad white guy, like corn fed, usually pretty jacked, like 10% body fat, like, you know, like our all of that sort of stuff, like I think, like, yeah, American Christianity is just a completely other animal, and we're kind of, the fact that this, like, anyone could even get behind this is like a testament to that fact.
Now, this photo triggered massive and swift and sharp backlash from Christian and Catholic conservatives. And news just in, this has just happened in the last couple of hours in a hastily arranged press conference outside the White House today. Trump.
I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them, American Christians, being like, this is a step too far. I'm proud of them. Good for them.
Said he thought that this AI image was of him as a doctor making people better. He blamed fake news for people comparing it to Jesus Christ.
Well, that guys, come on. That's just the dementia talk. That's just the dementia. Like, he thought it was a doctor, okay? You know, he also thinks like the sky is red and pancakes taste like chicken, you know?
And he said that he refuses to apologize, Mark, to Pope Leo.
Don't criticize him too much, okay?
On Truth Social.
Pope Leo, of course, leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Even the likes of Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister of Italy, have spoken out to condemn what Donald Trump has said. What has Pope Leo said, Vedika?
Well, speaking to reporters on his flight to Algeria when he was asked directly about this online attack by Donald Trump, he actually responded with, "It's ironic, the name of the site itself, Say No More." So he is referring there to Trump's platform, Truth Social. But he also said that he's not afraid of the Trump administration. So I think it's best we take a listen to exactly what he said now.
Let's hear him.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
Dude, he's so Chicago, man. This is awesome. I love that we have I love that we have a pope like this, man.
I think it's best we take a listen to exactly what he said now.
I have no fear of neither the Trump.
I have no fear of either the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. Like, you know, it's like crazy to hear a pope just like talk like that, man. I'm so used to them being like old Roman dudes or like old, you know, Italian dudes or whatever. Like,
Administration crazy. Nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace.
Now, the pontiff is also one of the most powerful critics of the US war in Iran. In recent days, without naming Donald Trump, he suggested that a delusion of omnipotence was driving the conflict in the Middle East and US foreign policy. Now, he also said directly about Donald Trump's threat to Iran, where he threatened to wipe out an entire civilization. He also called that truly unacceptable. So he definitely hasn't minced his words in terms of speaking about the war in Iran.
Delusion of omnipotence. It seems to be summed up by that AI image of Trump depicting himself as Jesus Christ, which I think more than Catholics, but many people would regard that as blasphemous. You said that Trump deleted that post due to the backlash from his own Christian supporters. Tell us more about that.
That's right. Just a few hours ago, he deleted the AI-generated photo from his platform, but not before he faced the wrath of some of his most loyal and devoted Christian supporters who have normally stood behind him. For example, Fox News' Riley Gaines, who was recently a guest at the White House. She said she couldn't understand why he would post this, and God shall not be mocked. Similarly, David Brody, evangelical journalist from Christian Broadcasting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why you people are surprised. Honestly, this is the most Trump shit that I've ever like seen. You understand, like, I want you people out there who are complaining about this image. I want you to know that, like, in his head, Donald Trump thinks literally that this is who he is. Like, Donald Trump is not like, you know, some benevolent, like, humble Christian. Okay, he is one of the most like arrogant, like self-involved people who has ever existed, narcissistic people that has ever existed. So like, this should come as no surprise to you. The only way this comes as a surprise to you is if you actually believed that Donald Trump was a Christian, which, I mean, just means you're an idiot. Like, if you think that, like, he is not a Christian, dude. You don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to look that hard to understand that. Okay, let's go and move on to this one.
Opposition supporters in Hungary.
Sorry, I meant to pause that faster. Where am I at? 1 hour and 18 minutes. Oof. Okay. Well, that phone call kind of took up some time. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch this video. This is from the big beautiful channel themselves, BBC News. This is about Orban. So, in Hungary, for those unaware, there was an election yesterday, and apparently Viktor Orban lost to Peter Magyar, I guess. I don't really know anything about that guy, but I have to assume that he's better than Orban. So, let's go ahead and watch this video by the BBC and see what they have to say.
Opposition supporters in Hungary have been partying late into the night after a landslide election victory that swept the country's long-term Prime Minister Viktor Orban from power. The man who'll become Hungary's next Prime Minister, Peter Magyar, has hailed the result as a miracle in Hungarian history. He told his supporters they'd taken back Hungary together and toppled the system of Viktor Orban. The Prime Minister-elect also promised a peaceful transition to his supporters. Earlier, Mr. Orban, who's led Hungary for 16 years, said the party would continue to serve the nation from the opposition.
I'm a little bit surprised that he, because he was very much an authoritarian in the same way that Donald Trump is. Maybe, I wonder, I don't know what the margins are. Maybe they'll get into it, but maybe it was just such a blowout that he couldn't pretend like there is some sort of election fraud or whatever.
Benches. Well, let's get all the latest now from Budapest, and we can join my colleague Rajini Vaidyanathan. Rajini, let's talk about mood there first of all, because it is a new era beginning in Hungary.
Indeed, a little bit of a tired era for many people that I've encountered on the streets of Budapest this morning, because the city really did come to life. There were tens of thousands of supporters of the opposition leader, the Prime Minister-elect now, Peter Magyar, who'd gathered on the banks of the River Danube to celebrate a real moment in history. Now, I'm joining you, Anita, in front of the country's National Assembly, the Parliament building here, and the makeup of that has completely changed overnight now. You've got Magyar, who's only led his opposition TISA party for 2 years, now the next Prime Minister of this country. And here's another staggering thing to just soak up. The TISA party, 24 hours ago, had no members of the Parliament here. Now they have 133. So that really does give you a sense of how much we are seeing change. Now, as I was saying just then, I was on the banks of the river opposite the National Assembly building as those results were coming in. There was a real sense.
So I guess I'm just looking this up or whatever right now. The TISA party is considered a conservative center to center right European populist party, is what it sounds like. So I wouldn't guess that these are like that this person or like that this group is going to be, you know, is going to usher in a new era of prosperity or anything for the people of Hungary. If I had to guess, there's probably, I would assume that there's going to be just as much, you know, like normal capitalist shenanigans of like trying to eviscerate the working class. They're probably, I mean, maybe not quite as much, but I think that they might consider themselves a little bit more liberal too as well, but who knows? We'll see how they govern, but
Jubilation and of celebration. People knew that there might be a change, that the party might do well. They'd seen the opinion polls. But then when the actual results started to come in, when we saw Viktor Orban make that concession speech, the mood really did shift. And what was interesting, certainly in urban centres like Budapest, is just how much Hungary's relationship with the European Union had a role. Let's have a listen to some of the people that I spoke to.
I'm so emotional. This is history, you know. I'm so happy that, you know, we can remain a part of Europe. You know, that was a choice between Europe and Asia, and now Hungary showed really that we want to be a part of Europe. We are a European country, and we want to remain here. It is something.
Why why was this between Europe and Asia? I don't quite understand that dynamic. Was Orban like, what was he cozying up to China or something? I don't think that's the case, right? I thought Orban was relatively aligned with Trump in America.
I think we've been waiting for our whole life. As young generation, we are incredibly happy and proud for Hungary that we showed today that we belong to Europe and we will belong to Europe.
Well, let's pick up on that thought, Regini. I mean, why was Peter Magyar the man for this moment, and what exactly will it mean for the relationship with the rest of Europe and indeed other parts of the world too? Lots to consider.
Yeah, indeed. It's a really interesting question, isn't it, Anita? Because Hungary is a small country in landlocked Europe, the centre of the continent, and population of less than 10 million. And yet you have the Kremlin, the White House, European capitals all watching this race really closely. There were many people who felt that Prime Minister Viktor Orban's relationship with people like Russia's Vladimir Putin was just too close and too cosy. And on the other hand, they felt that the relationship he had with the European Union, which is at times antagonistic, it wasn't that cordial, was it, on things like the issue of Ukraine?
Yeah, well, he was just like, he's just like Trump. He's literally just their version of Trump. Like, Trump also has an appreciation for Vladimir Putin or for North Korea, Kim Jong-un or whatever, right? Like he does have that appreciation for anybody who is who just has a stranglehold on their country as a unique individual figure. And so, but I don't really see if this new party is a center-right conservative party, like they might cozy up with the EU a little bit more, but the fundamental like forces of geopolitics are going to remain, I think, relatively unchanged regardless. Like, I guarantee you Orban wasn't going to like align Hungary with Russia, right? Like, because Hungary is like a part of the EU and is going to behave like a vassal to the United States, whether it's Orban or this new guy who is there. I don't really think the only thing that I think will change for the positive will be the domestic politics of Hungary. I don't think their foreign policy is going to change that much. But I do think that like Orban, from what I remember, and I'd have to go back and look up the stories, I think that he did a lot of like bad shit when it came to like, you know, gay rights, like LGBTQ stuff. I think they like criminalized it or something. If I remember correctly. As of April 2025, Hungarian government by Viktor Orban has passed significant constitutional amendments and laws that ban public LGBTQ+ events, forbid the depiction or promotion of homosexuality to minors, and allow the use of facial recognition technology to identify attendees of prohibited events. So yeah, like so there was shit like that. But so I think that the domestic lives of Hungarians will improve somewhat from this, but not foreign policy, and I don't know if their material conditions will improve that much from this new party, but we'll see.
Needed a reset, and that's certainly what Prime Minister-elect Peter Magyar is hoping to do, hoping to reset that relationship. We've seen responses and messages from people like the EU's Ursula von der Leyen and France's President Emmanuel Macron as well, saying that this does mark the start of a new chapter between Hungary and the EU.
Okay, Regini, thank you very much for that. Regini Vaidyanathan there in Budapest. And let's speak now to Paul Adamson, founder of Encompass, an online magazine dedicated to covering the European Union and Europe's place in the world. Paul, welcome to the programme. And as elections go, this one must be surely one of the most consequential for the shape of the European Union and Europe's place in the world.
Absolutely. It's quite mind-boggling the extent to which this victory is going to change the landscape of the EU relations. I mean, as we all know by now, Hungary for the past 16 years, if not more, has been a major blocking power inside the European Union and been able to stifle progress on a whole range of issues, from sanctions packages, aid packages to Ukraine, etc., etc.
That is true. I forgot about that. I do believe that the EU has has potentially been blocked from like doing certain things that require like unanimous decision making because of Orban, that this group may potentially do. If they are just more standard neocon or like neoliberal or whatever, they will probably start sending more arms to Ukraine and that sort of stuff, as opposed to Orban, which may have been more isolationist in some regard. I don't know for sure though. But we'll see when when rubber hits the road, like if they will govern from a foreign policy perspective differently or not.
Is now all going to stop thanks to this new election.
At the end of the day, even Viktor Orban, if he wanted to be even if he wanted to be an isolationist, he was still at the mercy of America as America's vassal to do whatever America wants. So if America wants you to keep sending arms to Ukraine, then you're going to keep sending arms to Ukraine. I think that's more the thing that matters.
Victory of Peter Magyar.
Yeah, and Germany, I notice, has been saying it hopes the EU Ukraine aid will be released very quickly after this result. Viktor Orban most recently had blocked 90 billion euros of aid to Ukraine. Russia, on the other hand, is saying it looks for a continuation of a pragmatic relationship with Hungary. So where do you think, in the middle of those two hopes, will Peter Magyar sit?
Well, it's no secret that Putin has had an unofficial ally around the Council of EU member states table, basically making sure that Orban, when he was prime minister, did Moscow's bidding. That will now change. Obviously, Putin has to sound more pragmatic, more diplomatic. He's lost a key ally inside the European Union in the shape of Viktor Orban. That now has to change. He has to rethink his strategy. And for him, it's a major card is no longer at his disposition.
Give us an insight into why Peter Magyar's political approach has changed, because, of course, he was an insider in Viktor Orban's party previously. So why has that happened? And what does that mean more broadly for the right of politics in Europe?
Well, I suppose we should not forget that originally the new prime minister was from the Fidesz party, the ruling party, and he is on the right of centre. But as you just heard from both your reporter and the people you're interviewing in the streets of Budapest, Hungary is fundamentally a pro-European country, especially amongst the young population. And Peter Magyar was elected to the European Parliament just under 2 years ago. So he knows where the direction of travel is for his country and for Europe. And he wants to be part of that mainstream majority.
So more a sign of pragmatism for him in terms of getting to a position of power rather than an ideological belief?
Well, I think, to be fair, most heads of government, heads of state in Europe are recalibrating what it means to be a member of this club called the European Union. It's going through a pretty much fundamental rethink about what it's about, what it needs to achieve, what its goals.
Okay, well, yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over that because that's pretty big news in world politics. So I think that honestly, guys, I'm just going to head over to x.com right now. I don't really have any good articles. So I'm just going to head over to x.com. I'll probably hang out here for at least 30 minutes, but yeah, we're going to go over here. We'll find some good clips to talk about, and we'll just have a nice casual time for the rest of the stream. I'm just a little bit stressed out today just from all of the calls that I had to do to all of the vets and stuff, and it was just like a lot. And then thinking about the amount of money I'm gonna have to spend, makes me want to vomit, but it's okay. I'll hold it in. A real gentleman holds in his vomit, right people? That was what I was told when I was in college. A real gentleman holds in his vomit and does not vomit in front of a lady. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. Assuming I don't even know if there's any ladies that watch me. I think my demographic highly skews towards the boyos, but you know what? Just in case, I'm gonna hold it in. Let's see here, people. What do we got? AOC alongside her political director on the way to an interview with NYC Labor Central Council via Instagram stories. Let's see.
I'm here with my political director, Theo, and I wanted to take you along with me today. I am running for re-election, and I'm about to sit in and have an interview with our New York City Central Labor Council. That's all of our major unions in New York City, our teachers unions, our building trades, our service workers. And so I sit down, I talk about some of my priorities, what I'm thinking about for our next term. They'll ask me some questions, and they'll let me know if I'm endorsed for re-election. So I want to take you along with me, kind of day of the life when we're here in New York City, and ask me any questions that you want. I'm here with my political...
Cool. Always good to go talk to the labor unions. What is this? I don't care who this unknown is, but time to file a lawsuit on it. Ain't no chick got the right to drop such disgusting This is too complicated. I'm sorry, Caroline. This is a little bit too complicated of a post to follow. There's too much text, too many pictures. I don't know what to look at. I'm not online brained enough for this one. What's this? I think I already watched some of this, but this is Power to the People says, all you have to do is pay us enough to live has become the working class new rallying cry. The time is now to fight for a new economy where wealth is distributed to workers instead of rich shareholders who never work a day in the factory, store, shipyard, and warehouses. Yeah, bring on the communist revolution. We need a good old cultural revolution here in America, I'd say. Oh, can't listen to that. Oh, we can watch the fire truck do its fire truck thing. That's a lot of fire trucks. Okay, what do we got? Jackson Franklin? I assume that's Franklin. Okay. Indiana Congressional District 5 2026. Let's see what if they sound any good. This is AIPAC Tracker says Jackson Franklin is running for Congress to replace AIPAC's Israel First Representative Victoria Spartz in Indiana 5th. I will never accept any lobby money from corporate PACs or AIPAC. While I serve in Congress, I will only answer to one group, the people of this district.
Our political system is rigged. It's flooded by billionaire and corporate PAC money that drowns out the voices of us working class people. Wealthy donors bankroll our politicians to protect their profits while families struggle to get by. Healthcare is unaffordable, and gas prices continue to climb as the illegal war in Iran drives up inflation and costs our service members their lives. Working families should not have to choose between filling up their tank, paying for rent, and putting food on the table. Hi, I'm Jackson Franklin. I'm a proud Democrat running to replace Victoria Spartz here in Indiana's 5th Congressional District. I grew up in Albany. Today I call Muncie my home. I'm a registered paramedic and a combat medic in the Indiana Army National Guard, where I've deployed overseas and have served for 7 years. Because of my experiences, I know how to put people first in moments of crisis. But this campaign isn't about me, it's about who this government is supposed to serve. Hoosiers deserve clean water, stronger unions, and access to quality education.
Okay, I like all three of those bullet points right there. So
strong communities start with investing in the people who hold them together. That means paying teachers the wages they deserve, strengthening our unions for our workers to have a real voice and living wages, and ensuring that every Hoosier has a healthy environment to call home. Healthcare is a human right, and Hoosiers deserve quality, affordable care. That's why I'm fighting for Medicare for all. Once elected, I will continue to fight for women's rights, trans rights, immigrant rights, and human rights across the board. I believe our politicians should listen to us, the voters.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be unapologetic about that stuff too. I think one of the key problems that a lot of people find with Democrats is that they get all wishy-washy, especially when the polling, like when they start polling questions about like immigration, or they start polling questions about trans people or whatever, right? Or they start pulling questions about women, and then they're like, oh wait, everybody is incredibly reactionary. I guess we have to start catering to the reactionary public out there or whatever, as opposed to like just being like, out of moral clarity, being like, I stand with these people and here's why you should too, or here's why you shouldn't blame these groups of people or these identities for your problems, and instead should focus your anger at the billionaires. Like, instead of doing some nice messaging around it, they just like give up and capitulate, which ends up making everybody feel like they're either phony, like the people on the right who they're trying to now court think they're phony, and the people on the left, they just are like, well then fuck you, I'm not voting for you. So it's just like a lose-lose situation to capitulate on any of those things.
Across the board. I believe our politicians should listen to us, the voters, not wealthy special interest groups. That's why I will never accept any lobby money from corporate PACs or APAC. While I serve in Congress, I'll only answer to one group, the people of this district. We are unapologetically fighting for the working class, not the donor class.
Nice.
This campaign is about building a government that works for all of us. If you're tired of politics as usual, if you're ready for bold, people-powered leadership, then join our grassroots campaign. Together, we won't only win these coming elections, we will truly create a system that places people over profits.
You know what? I liked it. I'll give you a like. You know, he said all the right things, everything I wanted. I mean, not everything I wanted, but he said, you know, nothing really stood out as being, you know, bad or caught my eye. This is a good repost of this. This time you got Ghislaine. You got the Israeli flag. Should have gotten rid of the bald eagles, though. What's the national bird of Israel? Israel national bird. The fuck is that? What? This shit? Are you kidding me? This is your fucking national bird, Israel? God, Jesus Christ. I thought I couldn't hate Israel anymore, but look at this fucking thing. Pick a better bird, Jesus. I'm just kidding. It's a very pretty bird, people, okay? It looks almost like a hummingbird. But I have to shit on it because it's Israel's national bird. So, unfortunate for this bird. Now, people, you need to be aware that this bird in particular, this one right here, it did not choose, okay? It did not choose to be associated with the state of Israel. Just like a lot of Jews don't choose to be associated with the state of Israel, okay? So don't blame it, okay? It's anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic to blame this bird for its association with the state of Israel, okay? It did not choose to be associated with the state of Israel. The state of Israel chose to be associated with it, okay, people? So, you know what? Don't hate all of this type of bird just because Israel has claimed that they're committing genocide on this bird's behalf, okay, people? That'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one to clip. That might have to... I could probably make a short out of that one, people. I'm gonna write that down real quick. X.com portion. Nice. Okay, anyway, well, we got Epstein is being recovered. We got Melania as the nurse. Got Netanyahu, Satan himself, over here looking up at him. What are all these supposed to be? Are those supposed to be like angels or something? Interesting. Okay, let's see what this is. Anonymous post. Anonymous is simping for AOC now, apparently. New NBC poll. AOC more popular than Trump, Newsom, Harris, and all Democrats. Yeah, I mean... Here's the thing. I think that she probably, at this point in time, is the best candidate, or the most electable, like most winning potential candidate that we have. I'm not going to say, like, we're so far out from an election cycle that I'm not going to say for sure that she's going to be the one, but in my opinion, she probably has the most clout with like the general libs, and also with without being so bad that she alienates her left flank or whatever. People like me and lefties like me do have problems with AOC, particularly a lot of the times when it comes to foreign policy. She is not very good at foreign policy, and messaging, particularly around foreign policy. These are things that she can get better at. And she's shown, that she is willing to change with like her discussions with DSA about like whether she would accept or whether she would vote for defensive arms to Israel or whatever. She has shown her, good faith in that she would be willing to change on some of the policy positions that are both detrimental to her from an electoral perspective, but also morally repugnant to have. So, yeah, I don't know. She could do it. If there's going to be a first woman president, like, I would much rather it be her than Hillary. She is much better than Hillary. So, she would put that people could actually like look up to her in the future, I think, as opposed to Hillary, which I don't think people could possibly look up to, considering how much of like a war hawk and like, I don't know, neoliberal demon she was. So, yeah, I don't know. I say go for it, AOC. And don't do that thing that leftists like to do where they keep waiting for some pristine, perfect situation to finally decide to take the plunge or whatever. Like, I know that it's a scary thing to do because if you fail, then you have the stench of failure on you. And Democrats really don't like that. Democratic voters really don't like that. But, yeah, we need the people. Like right now, we just need people. We need good people to go out there and, put it all out there and like not wait around for some idyllic hypothetical moment to actually run or whatever. And I think that, we'll see what she does, but we're still very far out. That's an ad. America is unaffordable. It's because of Donald Trump, is what House Democrats say. Neatur says it's because of the billionaire class. You still haven't learned. That's true. You gotta, stop blaming everything on Donald Trump. Neoliberals and liberalism as well had a huge impact on the current crisis of affordability in America. What do we got? More perfect union. A worker died at an Amazon warehouse in Oregon last week. For more than an hour, workers in the facility were instructed to continue working as the man lay dead. One worker wanted to help, but a manager told them to just turn around and not look. Let's get back to work. That's insane. Yeah, that is disgusting. And this is what I'm telling you, people, this is what they want. Like, in an ideal world, they could enslave everybody, right? Corporations could literally make you a slave that would have to work, and you wouldn't even get you would get like food and a drink and 8 hours of sleep. And that would be all that they would give you. And ideally, they wouldn't even have to give you that. Ideally, they could just like, I don't know, like stick some sort of tube in your neck, and then it just like fuels you. And then you could just, sit at your Amazon packaging job and endlessly work forever without ever taking a break, right? Like if they could, they would do that. Fortunately, things haven't gotten that bad yet, but they potentially can if we don't fight for a better future. That is the future that the capitalists want. So what do we got? Okay.
Guys, back up!
What would you say to someone who's nervous about getting
End the killing! Fight like hell for the living! Stop the bomb! End the killing! Fight like hell for the living! Fight like hell! Stop the bomb!
Oh, yeah.
End the killing! Fight like hell for the living! Excuse me.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Yeah, if you guys are ever curious what speaking truth to power looks like, this is what it looks like. If you're not being you know, brutalized and taken out by the police, then are you even really protesting people? You know, I mean, like, but I have talked about this before. Like, if you're not challenging power, then they're not going to sick the cops on you like they do to these people. So, pretty rad.
Do not normalize bombs! Do not normalize this! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Put it in first.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
See, this is speech. This is speech that is too much speech for our free speech society. Unfortunately, freedom of speech does not apply to anything that actually challenges power. So that's the unfortunate truth, but doesn't mean you should stop saying it though. Keep pushing people. We'll build a better world one of these days. Or one of these days. What's this? Is this a Trump dude? Is this Hogwatch? Mr. Red Pill's Joka Kwame. This looks like okay, we got Hog. We got Hog, people.
Hell yeah.
So, come on, man. You can, hey, listen, white people love lying about that shit, but you can lie to yourself. You will never lie to us about what Trump represents. Trump is the most racist president in history, the most fucking corrupt, and surrounded by...
Oh, okay, not a Hog. Okay. Never mind. I got confused. I saw Trump. I didn't see the fuck. It says fuck Trump. Okay, interesting.
By sheer fucking incompetence. Pete Hegseth is a motherfucking rapist who drugged the Republican chick and raped her while she was unconscious. Right? Straight up. And that's facts. That's straight from the fucking Pentagon. So I know you guys don't understand. That's okay. Because it's forever fuck Trump, baby. Forever fuck that demon. Hey, but that's all right. People who support him, go sign up for Israel. Right? Hey, that's it. Go fight Israel war. We not fighting Israel war. My children are not going to another worthless ass war. Period.
Oh yeah. Okay,
listen, I'm still supporting my oath. What the fuck you know about it? What do you know about it? What do you know about it? Shit, eat shit, homegirl. Come with that racist ass shit. It's forever fuck Trump. And that's on the First Amendment. If you don't like it, it's too goddamn bad. You can read that shit again. Fuck that racist. Fuck him for...
Now, I will say this, though. Going back to that previous one, this is not actually challenging power. I'm sorry. It's fun. It's fun for social media and for antagonized people, and it's good content overall. But this guy isn't probably going to get rounded up by the police, because I don't think they're that scared that this would lead to any sort of actual mass movement of people changing the changing the system in a meaningful way.
Renaming the bases after the fucking Confederacy. And fuck you for still supporting them. I said what the fuck I said. Let's get it.
Your government!
What? I got loud all of a sudden. But okay, don't know who that guy is, but cool. This could be an interesting one.
What is it?
Jeremy Scahill from Dropside. He's a really good reporter as well. But the quote that they have is, "I've never in my quarter of a century in journalism seen a greater effort to criminalize and demonize speaking to people on the other side of America's wars." Which is true. They are quite literally making it like you're not allowed to report the other side's perspectives or whatever. Like, they're really trying to make that as difficult as possible for people. And one must ask the question why. But let's see what they have to say.
What does it mean for independent journalism when just purely reporting on the other side is seen as an act of treason?
I mean, first of all, if you're a journalist and you don't believe in interviewing all of the major players in a story, then you're not engaged in journalism. You're engaged in propaganda. I have never in my quarter of a century in journalism seen a greater effort to criminalize and demonize speaking to people on the other side of America's wars. You know, American reporters and correspondents interviewed Osama bin Laden. They interviewed Saddam Hussein. After October 7th, when I started interviewing senior leaders of Hamas and Islamic Jihad, I started being called pro-terrorist and attacked. And more recently, the White House has attacked us for interviewing senior Iranian officials and said that I'm engaged in America last behavior. I believe that in a democratic society, or in societies that profess to be democratic, that the public has a right to understand in a factual and sincere way.
Well, for sure. I go back to my question though, why? Why are they being so crazy about this right now, right? Like, that's an important question to ask, is why are they behaving in the way that they are behaving? I think it should be pretty obvious to people. This is how you behave when truth and reality are like seen as biased, right? Like when man, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. Like, this is how you behave if you essentially are, like, reality is making you look weak or making you look like you're failing, right? Like, because you are failing. Let's be real. In America's war on Iran, you have, like, there has been complete and total failure. For Israel's war on Hamas, it was complete and total failure. I'm talking militarily, right? I'm talking, like, comparing, like, where Hamas is now compared to where it was like 3 years ago or whatever. Like, Hamas is stronger now. Yes, they killed a lot of civilians. Okay, good for them. You know, they killed so many civilians. So proud of you. But in terms of actual military, like, battlefield developments, Hamas is stronger now than they were 3 years ago. So, like, all of these things show the total and complete failure of America and of Israel as America's extension and America's proxy. So those sorts of, like, anytime you interview the other side and get, like, more realistic perspectives of how the battlefield is going, or how things are actually like, what direction things are moving in and what the strategic outcomes of this are going to be and all of that sort of stuff, the reality gets in the way of the propaganda, and so they get really upset with that. And if they were in a stronger position militarily or politically, then they wouldn't feel the need to go after all of these reporters who are just trying to report you need to know, like, the public has a duty to know the opposing side of a conflict's like, viewpoints. Like, in my opinion, citizens of America every single one of us should know what the opposing side wants, what they're, like, if we're ever at war with anybody, right, should know what the opposing side's goals are, why the war is happening, like, what the reality on the ground is. Like, I fundamentally believe that we have a duty as citizens to know the bare minimum about the conflicts that we are involved in, especially from the quote unquote enemy's perspective. And so, yeah, I think that it is a little scary to see them getting so, I think they're going to try to potentially make it, like, more difficult in the future to do real reporting of, America's enemies or whatever. Like, try to keep the public less informed, like, even less informed than they already are, to try and, I don't know, manufacture some sort of propaganda narrative that helps them, even though I don't really see it going. I don't know. That's not how you're not going to lead to any sort of more strategic victory from doing that. If anything, you're just going to get people who are even more lost in, like, the propaganda that they spew out, like, who are unable to tell the difference between the reality of the the reality on the ground versus the propaganda narratives that we're spewing. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what comes of all that though in the future.
What is the other side of this? By interviewing Hamas or Islamic Jihad, or by interviewing Iranian officials, we gain greater insight into who they are, what motivates them. When it comes to Iran, we reported even before the first bombs dropped on February 28th, exactly what Iran was saying it was going to do. Iran was saying this to an extent publicly, but because we had sources, what we published, if you go back and look at it, was exactly what happened. It's just basic journalism. But Trump's people started saying at one point after a few weeks into the bombing of Iran, nobody knew that the Iranians were going to, bomb all these places in the Persian Gulf. Yeah, anyone who was actually paying attention or speaking to Iranian sources or doing their job as journalists knew that the Iranians were going to do it because they said it to all of us. So, I recognize we're in a moment where there's an attempt to criminalize journalism. I realize we're also in a moment where anyone who speaks in defense of the right of Palestinians to have their voices heard, or yes, even Iranians, is somehow going to be lumped in with them as though you're a partisan supporter of those entities. I reject that. It doesn't bother me because it's so contra-intellectual.
And to some extent, they have always done this, right? Even if you go back to like Vietnam and stuff, like they didn't want you interviewing the Viet Cong or like getting those ideas out in front of the public. But I think the problem back then, that problem was more manageable because of because there wasn't that many independent news sources, right? They all of that sort of stuff had to go through the neoliberal like blob of like corporate oligarchs owning the companies that then like would define what was acceptable or not acceptable to cover and report. So I think that nowadays when you have a lot more independent journalists and independent news, I think it might get a little bit harder for them to bury stuff as much, and so they might get a little bit more visibly angry about it as well. So that's like another aspect of it. But okay, interesting conversation. Let's see. Oh, he's doing it. Okay. One down. One of his things down. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani has announced the location of the city's first publicly owned supermarket, making a step towards delivering on his pledge to bring down the cost of food. The city will spend $30 million on the store, which is due to open next year at a marketplace in East Harlem. Mamdani announced on Sunday during an address to market's 100 days in office. He wants to open 5 of the stores, one for each of the city's boroughs, before the end of his first term in 2029. They will operate without paying rent or taxes and pass those savings on to shoppers. During his address, Mamdani rebutted neoliberal arguments about the effectiveness of publicly owned business. Someone says that city-owned businesses do not work, that government cannot keep up with corporations. He said, my answer to them is simple. I look forward to the competition. Good answer. May the most affordable grocery store win. Good answer. That's a great answer, because if you're so confident, if you are so confident that a government-owned grocery store will not be able to compete with capitalist grocery stores and chains, well then why are you bitching about it so much? Who cares? Let us fail then. If you're so confident that it's going to fail, then just let us fail. You should be encouraging it as another example of the failures of communism. So that's a great answer. Look forward to the competition, because he will be able to, I think, bring the cost down on food at this one location, which will then draw everybody to that one location, which would then be like, okay, then other stores are going to have to lower their prices as well to keep up. So, but Mamdani has been quick to deliver on several of his major campaign pledges, many of them aiming at bringing down cost of living. He announced since taking office, he announced the introduction of free childcare scheme, intervened on behalf of tenants living in poor conditions, and secured $1 million of restitution. Yeah, I think the childcare thing is moving forward as far as I know. So I guess that's 2 down. Because I think he got approval from whatever the Hochul or whoever it was. But yeah, okay, cool. Go Zoran. Show him what it means to actually govern as a left populist, okay? and we can hopefully get a lot more left populists in there or around the country to, you know, a million Zorons for every district in the country. Let's see.
You know, the mistake that I made, and I made this early on, you know, from all the movies that we see growing up about heroes and villains, is that I thought that fascist takeover attempts were going to be architected by evil geniuses. And I was not expecting how unearned, nepotistic, mediocre, and just dumb so many of the people architecting this were going to be.
Like, don't get me wrong, there are smart people. There have been smart fascists, but when it comes to the people who rise up the ranks in a fascist regime, it is the dumbest generally, because what matters most of all is loyalty. If without the loyalty, there can be nothing else. So, like, sure, there are going to be occasional people who are going to be loyal and smart, but that's actually a pretty rare combination if you think about it, because most people who are intelligent, even if they are fascist, would rather be the leader, right? So, so getting somebody who's completely loyal and also really smart is just such a hard thing to find. And so you will inevitably start filling up your cabinet with, you know, with the dumbest of the dumb people. You're going to be getting advice from smart people, though. There's plenty of like right-wing think tanks like the Project 2025 guys or whatever, right, that are going to be out there writing all of the legislation and setting the priorities and the goals of the Trump administration as well. Like they're going to be out there, but the people who are going to be tasked with implementing it are going to be very stupid on average. Yeah.
And it works because of brute force. Like, you can do anything through brute force, but it's not sophisticated and it does not merit my intellectual respect.
Hey, me neither. Okay, guys, I'm going to look for a funny one and then I'm going to get out of here. So let's try and find something funny. This seems like it was a pretty big protest. Go them. Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yeah, but this is Fox News, though. I guess what I would say is that America. I'll go ahead and sorry. I guess I should read these out loud. Sometimes I'm just reading them myself, and I forgot to say anything. Holy shit! 121 empty oil tankers are now heading to the U.S. It all makes sense now. Step 1: invade and steal Venezuela's oil. Step 2: start a war with Iran to disrupt the global energy market. Step 3: barricade the Strait of Hormuz. Then send empty tankers to the U.S. to buy oil. Trump and the U.S. started a fire so they could then sell the fire extinguishers. To some extent, that's true. That is, I think, that one of the key aspects of America trying to get complete and total like fossil fuel dominance or whatever was to try and essentially get to a situation where they are one of the primary, if not the primary, exporters of oil, or like they have complete control over every aspect of like traditional like LNG and all that sort of stuff, right? So that they could have a card to play against China. Now, I don't think, though, that America is capable of actually producing enough oil for the entire planet, to be honest. I don't think, even with all of our drill baby drill shit that Donald Trump did, I don't think that we would be able to provide the energy for the entire planet. It's also incredibly more expensive for all of these ships to come all the fucking way over here and then all the fucking way back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there's so much more time that you have to spend on the ocean just going back and forth as opposed to just like going right up here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think this is a sustainable model for the world, but who knows? What do I know? Oh. I don't know. I don't know what that is. That's a little too much or too long. Today's the 30th anniversary of Rage Against the Machine's memorable performance on SNL, where there was a fight on stage between our crew and SNL stagehands moments before our performance, wrestling over some upside-down American flags which adorned our amps. Timmy C then attacked host billionaire presidential candidate Steve Forbes' family in the dressing room with a wadded-up flag. Secret Service flooded the hallways. SNL cut our second song and kicked us out on the sidewalk. Hell yeah, Rage Against the Machine. Being real ass punks, dude. I don't know. I'm assuming I can listen to this one, but I don't know. I don't know. They're so rad. And their message has always been sick. They've got like generally good politics, like radical. I think there might be one of the dudes might have gone like down the MAGA pipeline, but I think most of them generally have good politics. They're like anti-war, like radical anti-war sort of people. Bernie Sanders. Okay, I'm trying to find something funny. Okay, let's see. I might have already seen this one actually, but let's see.
Kind of. You used to have tall, athletic, handsome men. Can I say handsome? Yes. I'm that secure in my masculinity. Either that or I'm gay. But I'm not saying.
Okay, this is gonna be it, people. I didn't know that Jesse Waters was gonna have a questioning of his sexuality live on TV. So I'm going to start from the beginning again. And this is going to be the last one. We're going to watch Jesse Waters question his sexuality as he thinks about Hassan Piker, I'm assuming.
Kind of. You used to have tall, athletic, handsome men. Can I say handsome? Yes. I'm that secure in my masculinity. Either that or I'm gay. But I'm not saying, we have breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news because of.
What was that? What was that slop?
What the fuck? He was going through a rant when he was talking about Democrats used to be tall and handsome. Is he?
Oh, I thought he was talking about Hassan. Interesting. Maybe I can find one more funny one. I can stay for a little bit longer, people. I do it for you, the viewer. That one's not funny. That one's not funny. That one's not funny. Ezra Klein, I have wrote an article, I guess. I have my differences in opinion with Ezra Klein, but I appreciate his thoughtfulness on the discussion around reducing ideological opponents to tens, quotes, platforming, and of course the reality that the Israel discourse has shifted out of the old constructs mainstream clings onto. Sorry, I'm not great on all of these like shortenings that have to happen to get tweets under a certain amount, so I might be misreading that, but God, there's too much Hassan content though. I'm getting tired of it. I'm tired of it. I want to talk about real shit. I'm tired of talking about Hassan. What about this one? Daily Show. Okay. Daily Show is pretty funny usually, I think. I like Leslie Jones. So let's go ahead and watch this one. This one's going to be it though, for realsies this time, people. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up, and you're not getting any more after this, okay? So don't ask. So here we go. Let's watch this video from The Daily Show. Men are sinking into a pit of podcasts, synthetic girlfriends, and masturbation marathons, and Leslie Jones can't take it anymore. Let's see what she has to say.
Women are so ridiculous as people.
One of the biggest mistakes we made
was letting women have rights.
Women usher in all of the bad things that happened in society forever.
Yeah. Fellas, these toxic podcast guys aren't here to help you. Their entire business model relies on keeping you alone and angry and buying their sponsor flashlights. And I just found out what flashlights are. Y'all out here f***ing flashlights? What happened to socks or pies? And if you're not stepping to women, what are you doing with your time?
Why would I go looking for a girlfriend when I can just go into my room and masturbate?
Hey, Michael Myers.
Guys, guys out there, or girls, if you're a femcel or whatever. There are other benefits to like being with another person, okay, other than just the sex. Like, yes, the sex is fun, and yes, like, you know, like it's, I don't know, like, sure, that's a fun part of it, but there are also other benefits, like making a human connection, or bonding with somebody on a personal level, or I don't know, even like without like just the sex aspect, like making a friend or something, you know, like there are other benefits to like hanging out with women other than just sex. I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know, people, okay? I'm trying to do my part here.
You know you can spend a whole day with an actual woman, right? How long can you spend jerking off?
On a normal basis, like 6 to 7 hours, probably like 12 at the max. I'm not Superman.
So for 12 hours,
yeah, I think that would be the max,
watching pornography.
Mm-hmm.
Jerking 9 to 5, ain't no way to make a living.
Man, dude, that is insane. 12 hours, like, I'm not a very like anti-porn kind of guy or whatever. Like, I'm like, if what you want to watch, you can watch. But I am a big proponent of having like willpower and setting restrictions on things for yourself. I think that a lot of people, especially in America, really just like go a little too hard on like, I can, so I will sort of mentality of like just doing everything in the extreme or whatever. And I'm like, nah, dude, you got to moderate yourself, okay? You know, I'd say a good cadence for people, you know, a normal cadence, I think, would be like once every few days or something, okay, guys? Try to keep it to that. If you want to do it once a day, I'm not going to come for you, okay? But but you gotta, none of these like hour-long, like multi-hour-long sessions. That's a little too much for me.
12 hours a day? You're working overtime, dude. Your dick needs to join a union. And you know how pathetic this is? Even when they're jerking off, they're not even jerking off to real women.
There's a dramatic surge in the use of so-called AI companions.
I will be whatever you want me to be.
Stop f***ing these cartoons! Don't you want a woman you can actually put your arms around?
I've gone from sharing experiences with a real girlfriend to sharing experiences with a synthetic one.
God, dude.
Dean shares his house with a total of 7 dolls.
This is Sherry.
People just don't want any inconvenience anymore, man. It is like part of life is like hanging out with people that are going to inconvenience you every once in a while. Like that's just like a part of like the human experience and connecting with people. And I think that like some people find it so easy to just like be like, that's too hard, I'm just gonna disconnect and like do this sort of stuff. And it's really sad. It's really sad. To all the incel people out there, dude, I want to just be like, you just gotta try. Like, you just got to try and go out there and talk to girls. And it's not, and try to do it in a way that's not like you obviously want to have sex with them or whatever. Try to just like make a friend who's a female that like you can talk to and hang out with. And it's not about sex. And maybe if you make enough friends that are female, then one of them will introduce you to someone who is like interested or something, you know, and like put yourself out there and improve yourself, but not in like a weird, like face smashing, like clavicular kind of way. Like improve yourself in like maybe start going to the gym, or maybe pick up a new hobby like drawing or playing an instrument or whatever, like do things like that. And I think that, you know, you'll eventually be able to hang out with females and not be like a complete like freak about it. I firmly believe that most people are able to like hang out with women and not be complete freaks if they just like, you know, did it more. And if they weren't always so hyper focused on like sex as a part of it. But
I thought, yeah, I need some diversity. I need some different ethnic groups in my doll collection. And this was the most African-looking head that I could find.
Yikers.
Run, Sherry, run! You in danger, girl, run!
I love that he looked at his den filled with sex dolls and thought, I need more diversity. They're gonna start thinking I'm weird. Let me tell you, homeboy, I'm speaking for all the black women when I say, we good, homie.
Yeah, you can keep all the white dolls. Leave the black dolls alone. Come on. Okay, cool. I mean, I think that's as good of one to end on as any. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. If you're watching the VOD, love you too. I'll see everybody. I should see everybody tomorrow. Same sort of time, same sort of place. Yeah. That's about all I got. This has been Technically Clay, and the stream is technically over. Bye-bye.